Hey folks, live from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, it's Saturday night. How is everyone doing these days? How you doing? How you doing? Ooh, so where do I begin? I heard like an interesting story about how this man ended his marriage during a couples counseling. Yes, if I remember the story correctly though, this man is like the usual. Most women want a divorce. He's stable. He's emotionally stable and all that stuff. But he's bland. He's boring. Blah blah blah. And she has an affair with a supervisor who's wild, exciting, makes me feel alive. He makes me feel desire and all that. Here's a problem though. Now her husband tried. He finds out the truth. Finds out that his wife of about like 8 years has been having an affair, and he knows that at first. They were very intimate. They were like, despite what she says about them, they had this great relationship, turned to intimacy, communication, the whole bit. And all of a sudden, since she got this new job, everything stopped that shift. She's not as attentive. Like every time I reach out to touch her, she's like, pulls away, what are you doing? And I'm like, what's going on? And keep in mind, fellas, if you notice that your girl went from being like all touchy-feely and affectionate to like, it's like, ew, you got cooties, that type of mentality, be warned. That's a very, very, very big, big red flag to be worried about. And she goes like from, like leaving her phone around, not caring, to all of a sudden she guards her phone so she got state secrets, worry. Or she's on the computer or laptop and she keeps hiding it or trying to shut up the screen the moment you come by. She's hiding something. If you got nothing to hide, why are you hiding? So a separate video, a woman says she's like, have these other guys in DM say, hey, every girl got to keep her options open. And she expects her boyfriend to be okay with it, but you flip that script, she will not be too happy if you have girls in his DMs. What do you think about that, folks? But going back to the story about the wife who's having an affair, her husband, with a co-worker having to be her supervisor. And before I forget, say hello to Deadpool. And yes, folks, it's ginger ale. I don't drink alcohol. And the pinky's up. It's for my friend JJ. God, I know he loves it. Of all seriousness, goes on to say the husband found out the truth, and the first the husband, he confronts his wife. She's like all like, first she try to lie, try to deny until he brings up hardcore evidence, and she's like, okay, he made me feel this, and he was like, and he figured like, let's go to couples therapy. Now you think that, she'd be a little concerned. No, she's happy about it. That worried him. It's like going, why are you so happy to go to couples therapy? Usually wives get nervous. Not this one. She was happy. And she explained to the therapist, like, well, basically she, in the couples, in the therapy section, the wife paints her husband as boring, controlling, we drifted apart and all that. And meanwhile, the husband's like, what? And her favorite partner is the complete opposite of her husband. She goes on and on. I forgot the fair partner's there. He make me feel alive, make me feel free. He, basically gets me in levels you could never hope to. Now, her husband heard enough. He was doing this close, walking off before he agreed to, before he started the couple counseling or marriage counseling. But when she went to say that this guy is a better man than he is, he said, if you think this man is all that, you shouldn't marry him, then marry boring me. And instead of him staying fighting for his wife, he said, you know what? I don't need this. I'm gone. She expects her husband to fight for her. Can I ask you a question, ladies? Why you keep on testing men like that? Why? Is it some type of something to stroke your ego or something like that? And that's what it is? Ladies, Stop taking into consideration those trashy novels. Stop it. Cut it out. Grow up. Just because the characters did it in the trashy love novels doesn't translate into real life. You kidding me? Especially got a man that stands on business. Number one, the husband got all the proof. And if Ben he finds out that his wife cheated on him, and then she makes it feel worse during like marriage counseling, make it feel worse. Like, you know what? I'm done with this. He's saying, like, if you think the guy's so great, you go with him. I'm married. I'm going to divorce you so that way you can be with him. And he actually walked out. And she was shocked. She did not expect him. She's one of those women who think this guy going to stay no matter what. And then you hear, like, from the wives, his mother-in-law, his sister-in-law, and her friends say, oh, come on. In marriages, we have a rough spot. It's all about forgiveness. Here's the thing, though. It's one thing if you take responsibility and accountability, then let the chips fall in their life. Either the man stay or goes. At least if you admit your responsibility and take accountability, at the very least, he respects you more. The fact that, that you try to justify it and try to make the husband look worse, make it feel worse than it does, you pretty much like told your husband to get lost. You pretty much did that. Like I said, and don't get me wrong, men cheat. In fact, the guy who the fire partner, the wife's supervisor, yeah. Like I said, I'm not gonna jump too far ahead, but to make a long story short, the husband said, you know what? If you think that your affair partner is so great, so much better than me, how about this? I divorce you so you can be with him. He actually did. He filed the divorce papers. The funny thing is, he technically had divorce papers ready because he knew that his wife would cheat him. He was ready. He didn't like scream, go crazy, and lose him. No, he kept his cool. He kept his head together, and that is the most dangerous thing for women who cheat their husband. If you have a husband who's very cerebral, very stoic, and clear thinking, they're not gonna flip out. They're not gonna punch the wall, scream, curse, whatever. No, he's gonna think. He's gonna plan, and he's gonna execute whatever he's gonna execute. Basically, he's gonna gather evidence, gather facts, find the meanest, nastiest divorce lawyer, and basically he's gonna make the so-called wife try to make herself look innocent into the worst thing since Jezebel. And don't get me wrong, a majority of divorces are initiated by wives. No question, no debate. That's fact. A majority of divorces are always initiated by wives. But for the men who do initiate the divorces, they're not going to do it lightly. They're not going to just go and say, like, one day, like, well, I don't feel happy, I'm going to divorce. The men are not that dumb, ladies. Despite how much you have against men are not that dumb. The reason why men don't give up and file a divorce like women do, men will sacrifice their happiness. They will sacrifice their mental health for the sake of the family, of the marriage, for the wife. Unfortunately, for the wives who divorce their husbands, it's about three things: me, me, me. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have a husband who's abusive, especially physically, divorce him. If you have a husband who has a very crippling addiction that's causing harm to you, as well as any kids involved, divorce him. If you have a husband who cheats, who can't keep it in his pants, divorce him. Or he's one of the time he just like abandons you and don't want to divorce him. It was just like, oh, I'm just not happy. I don't feel safe. Seek marriage counseling. And for heaven's sakes, get to know the person before you make the final big decision and all that. Or if you're the type of person who takes flight, if things get stressful, gets bad, stay out of relationships. Seriously, stay out of relationships. But if a man, I imagine if a man decides to divorce, he's not going to take it light. He's not just going to say, I'll give up and walk away. No, because we already know for a fact, if the man decides to up and file the divorce, he's going to get murked. And he's going to get murked violently. She's going to take him for his savings, for alimony, and there's children involved. It's going to be a bloodbath. He's going to get killed. That's why you don't see too many men even thinking about divorcing their wives unless they had no other choice. There's a song that goes like this: it's cheaper to keep her. Now, going back to the man who's been cheated on by his wife, he have all the receipts, all the information, and you file a divorce. And here's why I spent weeks and weeks and weeks saying, oh, we could fix this. Oh, it's a mistake. No, I'm sorry. For anybody, man or woman who cheats on their mates, it's not a mistake. It's a choice. You choose not to think. You choose not to care. You choose to go have your fun no matter what. If a man cheats, he deserves to lose everything, everything. If this is a situation where like the wife won't, be intimate with him, well, it's like say if you have a wife who won't get intimate with you, this is where you have a hard talk with your wife. Say, look, what's going on? How can you don't be intimate with me? Explain to you what's going on. Either A, she's cheating, or there's something that's going on. Seek counseling, seek help. Don't go and jump after the first female you can find. No, don't justify her coming after you for divorce. Don't. You know that. There have been cases where men had divorced women because they won't be intimate with them. You know it's bad, and the man is coming behind just to touch her. You say, get away from me. Like he's some type of filthy animal? Wow. And no offense, ladies, that would hurt a man's ego. Forget his feelings. That would hurt him deep inside his heart. That would make him feel so rejected. You're going to tell me if you try to touch your man, he pulls back, you're not going to feel hurt? You're not going to feel a certain way? Come on. Before I get off track quickly, I got to finish up what I talked about the story about the man who was cheating on by his wife. Long story short, divorce went through, to much of the wife's dismay. I mean, this man had receipts. He was ready. And the irony is that the woman, his soon-to-be ex-wife's affair partner, the wife was not the only one. He has a very bad habit of going after other younger women with the same line, the same spiel. How do I know? Because later on, his wife found out based on the evidence that the husband found. And next thing you know, she took her super ex-husband to court. And to make a long story short, he got fired. The guy who was in the top level position, he got fired. That's why she had to quit, because it was unbearable to work there. I was like, she looked more like some pariah. And when the truth came out about how she cheated on her husband, people don't want to deal with her. Plain and simple. But it's kind of amazing how like you try to justify. There are women who would try to justify their cheating. Well, did he make me feel a certain way? Are you serious? I'm sorry. The some affair partner, you're not gonna be his wife. You're gonna be his next plaything. He's a side dude. Or he's looking, you're a side chick. You think you're gonna get a promotion if he's made woman? Nope. He's what having fun, and that's it. Ooh-wee. I mean, that's like unbelievable. Okay, I'm doing my rant right now. So what else I want to talk about other than how affairs happen and how it sucks. When other affairs get started, like a woman just hanging out with her friends. She can be married, but she wears inappropriate clothing just to get free drinks from a stranger. That's how affairs get started. But yet, women get mad when their man tell them like you shouldn't dress like this, you should go to places like this. That's why you get a free drink. You must be a strong, independent woman. Why you need a man to get a drink? You're a strong, independent woman unless you need something. Unless you need something that a man can give you. Then you're not that strong, independent woman. Come on, come on. Man, oh man. Let me see if I can find there's one piece I talk about, because there's a lot of women say you're a strong, independent woman, but do you realize when you're talking about being a strong, independent woman, you're kind of like rebelling against God's God's plan, God's order. You kind of rebel. You pretty much thumb your nose to God. That's not a smart move. That is not a smart move. But some of you guys do it. Some of you guys do it. I'm going like, see if I can find this video piece here. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, snap. Hold on. No wonder. Got no detail. Okay. This one I call says, well, you're going to see for yourself. This is called She Was Dropping Some Heavy Bars Against Female Empowerment. Check this out.
What they're calling women's empowerment is actually rebellion against God's word. When did we start labeling humility as a weakness, when the Bible tells us to humble ourselves and to learn of him because he is meek and lowly? When did kindness and tenderness become optional? When Ephesians clearly tells us, be kind and tenderhearted. When did softness become laughable? When the word says a gentle and quiet spirit is of great worth in God's sight. That has never changed. Culture did. But if you want to be a woman who pleases the Lord, watch out. Because rebellion isn't loud at first. It's subtle. It starts as curiosity, but the quiet intent to question and undermine the truth of God's word. And before you know it, you are clapping for messages that contradict everything you say you believe. Be careful.
Please keep that in mind, ladies. Please keep that in mind. Because you think that it's all about you, but you're thinking about God. So unless you plan to be atheists, which is a worse idea, yeah, just keep that in mind. One moment, please. Water's boiling. I'm not giving myself 30-degree burns, hot water. That would suck. Other than that, folks, how do you like the heat? Yeah, we had a real intense heat wave last few days. Pretty crazy, huh? And but right now, it cooled out a little bit. We had like splits of rain. And playing before I tried to call myself driving from Johnstown to Pittsburgh, and the rainstorm I cannot escape. It just won't go. No song, rain, rain, go away. And meanwhile, thunder and lightning tell me, yeah, try again, Jeff, try again. I am looking forward to a lot of new books coming out. I'm looking forward to a lot of new Marvel books coming out. I do want to throw one thing though. To anybody who saw one of my uploads about Cena versus CM Punk, and I enjoyed that. I know you remember the famous pipe bomb from more than 10 years ago. Because you thought CM Punk said a lot during the time. No, when he with the mic, when they cut off CM Punk's mic, he said so much more. It's like, wow, unbelievable. Then recently, John Cena, after he put down Punk, had his mic bomb moment, well, truth bomb moment. And it was not bad. I mean, he was straight up CM Punk like a samurai. But like I said in my last video, CM Punk came in, dressed up like a fake John Cena, but instead of being a thug like, it's Punk life. And he came at John Cena like Wolverine. But the deepest cut was he said oh, I would quit too if they try and break my ex. I'm like, whoa, okay, that cuts hard. So what else here I would like to talk about before I get too distracted? Let's see. Yeah, well, Diddy, I'm going to talk about last. Yeah, we will talk about what's going on with Iran. I know everybody say, oh, we don't want to get involved with number one. No kidding, folks. I don't want one either. Last time we went to the Middle East involved in the war, we want to fight technically one war, that's it. Afghanistan, get Osama bin Laden, and that's it. Instead, we went from there, Afghanistan, then Iraq. All of a sudden, you forgot about Afghanistan? Fighting two wars at once? Have you lost your mind? No. If you're saying, well, Trump had no business trying to get involved with Iran. Didn't other past presidents perform like operations like, drone strikes, missile strikes, airstrikes? But there's no boots on the ground. But for some funny reason, when like Obama did like I think drone strikes or took out Osama bin Laden, they wasn't mad. They weren't patting him like, you go, you're the man, and all that. And people kept their mouth shut. But when Trump tried to do something, it's like, how dare you? But then you gotta keep forgetting Trump is the most hated guy when it comes to the left. When it comes to the left, he's the most hated human being since Hitler. But here's a problem though. The Democrats are looking more and more foolish right now. They tried call themselves trying to bring in utopia. If you're not careful, folks, it become dystopia. One of the books I try to get a hold of called Brave New World. A friend of mine from my church told me about it. I gotta try to start reading it, if not next week, maybe the following week. And from what I'm hearing though, from the book, it's kind of chilling because some of the things that they talk about many years ago about Brave New World, you start seeing stuff taking place slowly but surely now. If it is a video about a person talking about how communism is slowly seeping into American culture, slowly. It's not like it's going to explode immediately. It's killing us by inches, plain and simple. But before I get to Diddy, I want to talk about this going on in Iran. Because one of the videos I uploaded is recently talked about how Iran was in the 70s. Iran was totally different. Before the Islamic Revolution, it was totally different. So different. This was like from this one I'm reading like from Fox News says like the momentum of regime change in Iran surges amid Israel conflict with Tehran. So basically, Israel is having some serious problems with Iran, and Israel is not afraid to take out Iran if they have to. Am I for innocent people getting killed? No, not by a long shot. But here's the irony: the Iranian citizens want the Islamic regime done. They want them gone. This is what starts off here. This woman's name is Sheila. Can't get her name though, but her name is Sheila. That's all thing I got. This is what it says here. As the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran escalates, many say that the airstrikes present a potential opportunity for significant political transformation. Basically, the people in Iran might be their time. And the funny thing, people say, oh, the U.S. troops, no, trust me. If things go the way they do between Iran and Israel alone, it's not going to be like the U.S. troops that the Islamic army got worried about. It's the actual Iranian citizens they may be concerned about. And I'll tell you why. Iranian Americans and Israeli government officials have been increasingly vocal in their call for regime change, advocating for a shift towards a more democratic and transparent governance structure. You think the Islamic government is going to give up easily? Not by a long shot. Okay, this I didn't know. This is called Exile Iranian Crown Prince HRH. That's actually the name, HRH? Sounds like a title. But the Crown Prince HRH Reza Pahlavi told Fox News Maria Bartiromo. And side note, Maria Bartiromo had a thing. I think it's the late great Joey Ramones for the Ramones. He actually made a song for Maria Bartiromo, but that's a story for another time. But according to Maria Bartiromo, that is only a matter of time before the Iranian regime is toppled, and Iranians have a tremendous opportunity. And according to the video, I'm going to try to put a link in there. Iran is more like modern day Europe. In fact, it is more advanced than Europe in some parts, especially when it comes to women's rights. Women was doing more, more educated and more elected in political fields than European women. They were like ally. I remember the Shah Iran going way back to Jimmy Carter era. Keeps going on here. Live updates: Israel-Iran conflict. To rise and get rid of this regime, because we always believe that the ultimate solution to the problem is for the regime to no longer be there, said Pahlavi, speaking on Sunday Morning Futures. Now, this guy was the exiled Iranian crown prince. And basically, if I remember correct, the Shah of Iran back in the 1970s, he's for making westernizing Iran to a point to where they could people compete and work alongside each other. Basically, Iran is compared back then to countries like Turkey and even Italy. I think like, wow, okay, that's a big deal. But now when the Israeli Islamic revolution took place, a lot of things changed drastically. You know, the women was allowed to look like women until like be covered up from head to toe. Before there was like a video of a woman on the beach wearing a bikini, not the super revealing type, but a bikini. But now, if she were to do that now in Iran, she'd be executed, no question about it. And she shows too much hair, she'd be executed. How crazy is that? Beverly Hills, California, plastic surgeon. Okay, that's a person's name. Beverly Hills, California plastic surgeon Dr. Sheila Nazaria left Iran when she was 6 years old, along with her family. It goes on to say the decision to leave Iran was driven by the oppressive changes following the Iranian. Hold on a sec. My Gemini AI kicked in by mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen. And she said Nazaria told Fox News Digital her parents did not want her sister to grow up in such a restrictive society. It believes all Iranians we all want the fall of this regime. Okay, I read this wrong. Hold on a sec. The decision to leave Iran was driven by oppressive changes for the Iranian Revolution of 1979 concerning treatment of women. Oh, that's true. In other words, though, like they would marry females as young as 8 and 9 years old. I'll be like, no, that's just wrong. Come on. That's just, you know what, they want to legalize pedoism, basically, in back then. I'm sorry, that's sick. No. So I can't, like I said, this woman's name, her name is, like I said, her name is Sheila Nazari, and she left, and she was a little girl. And she told Fox News Digital her parents did not want her and her sister to grow up in such a restrictive society and believes all Iranians want the fall of this regime. This is not just a small handful of people, a good number of people. But the problem is they got fooled by the Islamic government. Goes on the same, Crown Prince says Iranian people has tremendous opportunity to topple weakened regime. Well, you got Israel pretty much like kicking the door down. You got the United States pretty much ready to add fuel to the fire. And you got the Iranian government, the Islamic Iranian government, they got problems. And they're going to fold, they're going to try to do what they can to keep things under control. Goes on to say, everyone is thankful for Israel for taking out these brutal Islamic theocrats who have been implicit in raping, torturing, jailing, murdering, and exiling Iranians for 45 years. So I think we're all on the same page that this regime needs to go, says Nazarian, which is true. You know, people say like, Iran's not that bad. Yeah, right. That's why I laugh at people who will be saying like, quit for Palestine. If you feel so strongly about it, go to Palestine and protest there and see what happens. You make it sound like, you know, that Palestine is, you make it sound like these people over there is going to cut your break if you protest them. No, there's a reason why certain people protest here and not in that country. People will protest like crazy, you know, like the United States, but not in Iran, because protesters will not do good in Iran if they protest against them, especially against the government. Go on to say, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday an Iranian regime change could certainly be the result of escalating conflict, calling on citizens to seize opportunity. 80% of the people will throw these theological thugs out. I mean, they murder them. They oppress them for 46 years. They yearn for freedom. They shoot women because their hair is uncovered. They shoot students, said Netanyahu. And a dancer said that's not the case. There is. You got some young TikToker who dressed in a bikini in Iran. That's suicide right there. That's suicide, because you do that in Iran. As of now, you're going to forfeit your life. And that's what happened. I think she did something like that for TikTok. They found her and they executed her. I don't guess what they did to her like beforehand, but they definitely executed her. Top advisor to Iranian Supreme Leader killed in Israeli strikes. Oh, shoot, I didn't know that part. Top advisor to Iranian Supreme Leader killed in Israeli strikes, state media says. Israel has marked significant blows to Tehran's top military leadership, eliminating a slew of key military figures and scientists while attacking Iran's nuclear infrastructure. I'm going to say, I'm not going to mention names, but a certain government allowed Iran to be stronger financially because they claim like, well, we put some restriction on them. You think Iran's going to listen? Are you serious? Let's just say last administration, Iran just laughed hysterically. And right now, currently, Iran realizes they have a problem. Yeah, they have a problem because the person is in office right now, he don't care. He don't care. He don't need to send troops to Iran. He don't need to send troops. He's going to send in some bombers. He don't need to send nukes. He does not need to send nukes. All he's going to do is drop some well-placed bombs, well-placed missile strikes, well-placed airstrikes. That's it. He can have them drone strike them to his heart's content. Goes on to say that Netanyahu calls on Iranian citizens to seize the opportunity for regime change. And that's true. It's like the saying goes, if you got your foot on a tiger's neck, you better not get your feet off there. Because if you get your feet up that tiger's neck, you're done. Because that tiger's going to eat your face. Right now, the Islamic government got their foot on the Iranian people's neck, but the moment they get their foot off, it's game over. Nazarian and Pahlavi have both stated that the regime is at its most vulnerable point, urging the Iranian military to take advantage of the situation. The question is like, would it be like for the people or would it be for themselves? We don't need another military strongman in the region. We don't need that. They tried and failed. All they're gonna do is create another dictator. Let the actual government head. Let the 40 people by the people, not some dictator who's going to seize power. I mean, don't you think you're really messed up by now? I think this what it says here. Now, this is what it says right here. I do think that it's going to take some sort of force of power, whether it's the military, presenting a coup, or others in the region that are armed. For example, the Kurds in the mountainside helping the populace overthrow this paper tiger regime, said Nazaria. She shared that Americans need to understand the regime does not have the same values as the U.S. No kidding. That's not exactly a shock at all right there. We know that. They value martyrdom and death. And that isn't a if that isn't a 180 difference in core value, I don't know what is. They don't want to be American. They chant death to America. Americans think it is the right way and the right path, and so humane. They view it as actually stupidity, said Nazaria. That's true. They do value martyrdom and death. And so not us. They chant to America. And some people think it's the right way and the right path and still humane. No, and no. These people want us dead. Unless you follow the caliphate, you looked upon as infidels, you pay something or you pay with your life. Goes on to say, expert warns Iran's nuclear double talk designed to buy time undermine U.S. pressure. Former ambassador at large for international religious freedoms, Sam Brownback. Are you serious? There's a person by the name of Sam Brownback. Please tell me this person is Middle Eastern or African descent, because this person is Caucasian. I'm going to be flipping out. Wow, Brownback. That's an interesting name. Say America must support regime change in Iran. Brownback. That's different to me. Yeah, I'm making weird jokes. Okay. There's a little caption with this leader or what this person here says, like, Iran rejected ceasefire negotiations, telling the Qatari and Omani mediators that they will only pursue negotiations after they complete their response. So basically, until they get their lick saying we're not going to stop. course. Goes on to say, our government should provide maximum effort, diplomatic, economic, and technological to help Iranians overthrow their oppressors and establish a government that respects human rights and religious liberties, says Brownback. That news going to haunt me for a while. Nigeria expressed her gratitude towards President Donald Trump's recognition of the necessity for Israel to maintain a firm stance against the Iranian regime. We appreciate that President Donald Trump understands, unlike his predecessors, whoops, someone's throwing shade here, there's no negotiating with the Iranian regime, said Lazari. No kidding. Keywords, former predecessors. I'm like, woo, boy, someone just got fried. Mike Pompeo, Israel strikes on Iran are righteous and the whole world is benefiting. Okay. She added, the only language this regime understands is force and power. They see negotiations and diplomacy as weakness and a delayed tactic to be able to do whatever it is they want to do, enrich the uranium, become a nuclear power. Yeah, you don't want, the moment that Iran gets a nuke, there's a problem. Here's the funny thing though, if they only get one nuke, it's not gonna matter because once you shoot that one nuke, they're done. Number one, let's say they fire a nuke, let's say towards Israel, the nearest neighbor. Israel got enough capability to knock the nuke out the air and all that. And once that nuke is gone, Iran's gonna be reduced to dust. But then again, I don't think they're gonna do that because it's like innocent people who want to live. All Israel are gonna do is like, just bomb the military facilities to dust, and then the Iranian citizens would come and just mop up whoever's what's left and all that. Missouri said that taking a diplomatic route just delays tactics with the regime, and every Iranian in the diaspora understands this. Early Monday morning local time, Iran rejected ceasefire negotiations and official told Reuters. The Iranians told Qatari and Omani mediators that Iran will only go to negotiations after they complete their response to Israeli preemptive strikes. Basically, they want to shoot back. They want to get their licks back. They want to get their get back, basically. Trump's promise is to respond with full strength and might of U.S. if Iran attacks America. No, I don't think Iran's that dumb. It turns like them striking from there. No, now they got these cells here, and God forbid some terrorist cells in the United States that's activated by Iran. Yeah, then you might have a problem. Missouri says that she spoke with President Trump during a rally in Philadelphia on the campaign trail, advocating for Persian Jewish Americans. Give me a few seconds. Water. I've been hoping to do it, so I'm going to be instructed by boiling kettles of water. Cut to my stream on the time. So what it was this, folks? How bad would Iran be beaten up if they try to attack the United States? How bad would it get whooped? Oh, make sure it runs up here. About 10 more minutes. Good. Timer. Woo! Oh my word, it's hot. Like I said, I'll probably, let's see if I can get this here while I think about it. Copy. Get over here. Post right here. Boom. You can check out the link yourself. You can see. Let me finish this here once and for all. Okay, Nazari says she spoke with President Trump during a rally in Philadelphia on the campaign trail advocating for Persian Jewish Americans. Okay. I told him the Persian Jews of Los Angeles love you. They all thank you. They looked me straight in the eye and he said, I'm going to be the best president the Jews have ever known, said Nazari. Nazari said while growing up in Iran, despite her Jewish faith, her family never mentioned their Jewish identity due to the lack of freedom of religious expressions and fear of severe persecutions. No kidding. I think they learned from World War II what happens to them, which is downright horrible. But long story short, though, at this rate, unless there's a second Islamic revolution, which I don't see happening, and it really keep the pressure up. The United States keep the pressure up. I say that the Iranian government, the Islamic government, is going to crumble, and America and the Iranian citizens going to say, okay, it's time to take over. As long as not by no military coup or some dictator, Iran may have a chance to be able to have the type of freedom and enjoyment they had in the early 70s, but it's up to the people of Iran. But enough of that now. I want to talk to the very last thing, which I think you heard me mention already, and like I said in the title, it's all about the Diddy. You heard me, it's all about the Diddy. Starts off like this. Everyone who testified against Diddy, from Cassie to Kid Cudi, Dora Richards, more. And this is from USA Today, from the 27th of June, which is about a couple of days ago. Over the course of nearly 7 weeks, 12 New Yorkers serving on the Sean Diddy Combs jury heard at times disturbing testimony from more than 30 witnesses. Scroll from for each player, including former girlfriend for a decade, Cassie Ventura, Fine, Kid Cudi, Diddy, Kane, Dawn Richard, and who are they in relation to Diddy? Here we go. Israel Flores. Okay, this is Israel Flores. I think these are many, eyewitnesses testify against Diddy. Israel Flores is a former security officer at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, where Combs assaulted Cassie Ventura Fine in 2006. That's the one he received in a bathtub, beating the brakes off of Cassie, and for the whole world to see. He tried to bribe this guy to get rid of tape, but not happening. But I digress. Flores recalled observing that Ventura Fine had a purple eye after the assault, and he testified that Combs offered him money to stay silent about the incident. Nah, I'm glad he didn't. Now you got Daniel Phillip, a former male stripper and a friend of Ventura Fine, who testified about an incident where he allegedly saw Combs drag Ventura Fine by the hair. Ooh, that's violent. She looks different. Cassandra Cassie Ventura Fine, a singer and Combs' ex-girlfriend who provided emotional testimony accusing him of manipulating and abusing her for nearly a decade. In a long stretch of testimony from May 13th to the 16th, a 9 months pregnant Ventura Fine laid bare the raw details of the complicated relationship. She opened up about her participation in his alleged sexual performances that were labeled freak-offs. I said before and say it again, folks, just call them 21st century orgies. Simple as that. The physical and emotional abuse she said she faced and the drug addiction she developed after using various substances in part to cope with the freak-offs. Yeah. I don't want to think about how that feels. It's pretty messed up. It's like a very, it's so many levels of wrong. You got Yasin Binda, a Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent who photographed evidence in Combs' room where he was arrested at the Park Hyatt in New York. Okay. Even that, are you kidding me? Yeah, I think according to sketch artists, they have a picture of Johnson & Johnson baby oil. Seriously? I can't do it. I can't. I cannot look at a bottle of Johnson baby oil the same way again. I just can't. Seriously, I can't. Dora Richards, a former member of the girl group Diddy, Kane, and Combs trio Diddy Dirty Money, who said she frequently witnessed Combs physically abuse Victoria Fine. I saw him punch her, choke her, drag her, kick her, she says. Basically, she had witnessed Combs beating the brakes off her. Messed up. Kerry Morgan, a former friend of Victoria who testified that Combs assaulted Morgan with a wooden hanger. Ugh. Morgan also says she witnessed Combs assault Victoria Fine several times. So basically, got more of a one witness seeing Combs beating the brakes off of Victoria. Oh, let me finish this up before I say another word. I'm not trying to get too crazy here. David James, Combs' former personal assistant, who said he feared for his life after an alleged incident in which Combs, with a handgun in his lap, made James drive into a Hollywood diner to confront Suge Knight. So basically, the guy came within inches of possible shootout with, of all people, Suge Knight and possibly his crew. Regina Ventura, mother of Cat Ventura, who testified that she was wired, she wired Combs $20,000 after the rapper threatened to release sex tapes of her daughter. I have a problem with that. That man got way more money than anybody can imagine, and he wants more money by blackmailing them? Come on. The guy deserves to rot in the 7th level of hell, for heaven's sakes. Sherrera Hayes, a former exotic dancer, lawyer, said that, it's a he. Oh, my word. What the heck? I thought it was a woman. No, Sherrera Hayes, a former exotic dancer who said he was hired to have sex with Victoria Fine. There's enough stuff in it to make a dozen Dr. Phils quit simultaneously. Okay, if I was a shrink, you need to hire at least about a few thousand therapists and shrinks for these people, because Diddy was like a nuclear tornado. You got Gerard Gannon, a Homeland Security special agent who was part of the team that searched Combs' Miami mansion, where sex toys, lubricant, and baby oil were found by the hundreds, by the thousands. Wow. Dawn Hughes, a psychologist who provided expert testimony about abusive relationships. Yup. Yeah. Cassie. Before I forget, let's see if things broadcasting here. Here we go. I'm like, yeah, my gums here. Emotionally stable and all that stuff, but he's bland, he's boring, blah, blah, blah. Holy moly. Okay. Yep, I'm yapping away like crazy. Okay, next. You got George Kaplan. Okay, I think I ran across his name before. A former assistant for Combs, who said he witnessed the rapper physically abuse multiple women, including Victoria Fine. Next, Frederick Zimmer, general management of the Intimate, what the heck? Intimate Beverly Hills luxury hotel, who ran from a document detailing one of Combs' stays, said that the rapper's room should be placed out of order upon departing for deep cleaning. No, not deep cleaning. How about demolished? How about destroyed? I mean, come on, folks. Let's be for real. Kid Cudi, a rapper born. One more second, please. Need some of the brownies good. Look. Okay. Okay. If you're wondering, check out my brownies. I'll show what they look like when it's done. I gotta let them cool for a bit. Kid Cudi, a rapper born Scott Mescudi, who testified that Combs broke into one of his homes after the defendant found out that Mescudi was romantically involved with Victoria Fine. You got Marla Morales, a celebrity makeup artist, says she saw Victoria Fine with a swollen eye and a busted lip and knocked her head after allegedly being attacked by Combs. Yep. Joshua Croft, a Homeland Security computer forensic agent who said Victoria Fine consented to authorities searching her laptop. Of course. Okay, this one, I know I did a story with this one here. Capricorn Clark, Combs' former assistant, who allegedly he kidnapped her to Kid Cudi's home and threatened to kill her. She also claimed to have seen Combs push Victoria into the street and repeatedly kick her. Unreal. You got Lance Jimenez, an arsonist investigator for the Los Angeles Fire Department, who testified that a Molotov cocktail was responsible for the explosion that wrecked Mescudi's car. Basically, Kid Cudi's car got burned because a Molotov cocktail was launched into it. And I'm not sure if Diddy himself, but one of his associates probably did. Good luck to me pronouncing this name here. I think it's Chris Ignacio, a Los Angeles Police Department officer who testified about Combs' alleged break-in at Mescudi's home. Dante Nash, Victoria's Fine stylist and friend who testified that Combs repeatedly beat Victoria Fine, asked how many times he had helped Victoria hide from Combs. Nash said too many times to count. At one point, he said, my whole 20s, this man's sanity was my safety. Wow. Okay, this one here is Mia. They keep her face vague. Okay, her face is like God. You just see like head, hair, but no eyes, lips, no whatever. But it says here Mia, a former assistant of Combs, who worked for him like from 2019 to 2017, so almost 10 years, testified over the course of several days. She said that Combs essayed her multiple times throughout her employment and witnessed him attack Victoria Fine. Wow. Holy word. Sevilla Octon, a Beverly Hills hotel worker who confirmed that Combs stayed there under aliases, and during one stay he was charged $500 for oil damage. Let it sink in. Oil damage. Eddie Garcia, a former security officer at the Intercontinental Hotel LA, who said that Combs paid $10,000 for a copy of the video of him assaulting Cassie Victoria Fine. That didn't work. We got Derek Ferguson, Combs' former chief financial officer, who shrugged off questions from prosecutors and told the defense that he did not witness anybody help Combs commit crimes. Of course. Frank Piazza, a forensic video expert who walked jurors through the compilation of videos of the hotel incident where Combs assaulted Victoria Fine. No kidding. Okay, this person here is Brianna Bagalan, a friend of Victoria Fine. Allegedly, Combs dangled her on top of a 70-story balcony railing. Okay, that's terrifying. Another one, her name goes the name of Jane. No facial features in the sketch. An ex-girlfriend of Combs who testified over the course of a week that she felt obligated to have sex with male escorts and that the rapper had threatened to stop paying her rent. Jane testified that Combs covered $10,000 a month in rent as part of the love contract, which he allegedly uses as leverage to manipulate her into performing during so-called hotel nights. There were gasps in the overflow room when Jane was asked who was paying her rent. Now, she responded, Sean Combs. Combs is also still paying for Jane's lawyer. Wow. Enrique Santos, a U.S. attorney A U.S. Attorney Office a U.S. Attorney Office analyst who testified about obtaining data from cell phones, according to NBC. Andre Lamont, a Homeland Security investigative agent who was part of the group that led a search on Combs' Los Angeles home. Almost done, thank goodness. Jennifer Perez, a former personal assistant at Combs. How many personal assistants may have gone through? I imagine a lot. Who testified about preparations and clip evidence for the rapper's freak-offs. I think it's, and I think and then I think, what the heck? And Ananya Sankar, okay, Ananya Sankar, a paralegal specialist for the U.S. Attorney's Office, to review various text and audio messages. Her eyes must have been burning. She probably needed a lot of Visine. Delasa Penland, a special agent for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, who went over details of evidence from freak-offs. Oh man, that woman need to get a raise for that. If you gotta do that work, you better get a raise. Brendan Paul, Cole's former assistant from 2022 to 2024, who discussed occasionally procuring ketamine and ecstasy for him. He pushed back against allegations that he was Combs' drug mule. Really? Joseph Cicerico, a Homeland Security investigative special agent who worked with various texts, bank statements, and flight records of Combs and others. And that's it. Wow, that's a lot. So basically, I lost track of how many people testify against Combs or testify in general. That's a lot of people. Catch Mature testify a lot and all that, but tomorrow I'm gonna try to get into one thing I heard about. One of the Diddy scholars talk about it has something to do with Justin Bieber. I still think if Justin Bieber was to say something, that'd be it. I still wait for Alvin Short to say something, wait for that as well. That is a lot of stuff. I mean, that is a lot. Let's see. So the whole of this and this. Let me check out his, and I don't really call this a day now because we're not day, I call it a night. But folks, what are your thoughts on this though? Because this is like quite a bit. Right now, looking at 11 views and all that. Shout out to my friend Gia and Fred Hickson. How you guys doing? Miss you guys. How you doing? This is like a lot of stuff I talked about. Maybe from the deal of Iran, Diddy, and about relationships in general. I mean, like I said before, I say it again. Right now, in terms of the Diddy pool, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is so toxic. Chernobyl is safer. I tell you right now, it's that bad. I mean, you might as well be running around in Chernobyl compared to being a Diddy pool because it's getting that toxic. Is it totally hopeless? No. But it seems like men right now, I mean, good men who's on stands on business got to work much, much harder to find a good woman. And you got so many women who like influence other women to behave like thoughts. Why you want that woman with a super high body count? Why you want a woman who said like, I had no problem having about 200 boyfriends in my DMs? What's the big deal? Because at any given moment, because you're bored, the good men you have, you simply just throw them aside for the thrill of the night. But you flip that script, you think you'd be cool with a guy doing that to you? No, you would not be cool with that. With that being said, folks, I gotta call this like it's done. I want to thank you guys who stuck around, who pulled me like my mouth all night. I say very good night. Oh, and tomorrow at about 8 o'clock, it's gonna be more fun. Probably more fun. It'll be more about Marvel, possibly DC movies coming up soon. I'm looking forward to it. Other great movies. And don't forget, Spaceballs 2 is coming to your theater near you. The Swartz has been awakened. Other than that, folks, have a good night.